Hi, guys. Welcome. So glad you are here listening today. I have something really different and special for you in today's episode. So, if you have been listening for a minute, you know that my creative collaborator and partner on the podcast this year is Nick McMahon, who is an incredible nature field recordist and sound designer. He's done the sound for almost every podcast episode this year and is the creator of many of the nature sounds that you have heard. And as I was thinking through and developing the current series that we're in, this series of deep listening, at the same time, Nick was on his own adventure exploring the quietest place in Oregon. And so I'm talking to him about my ideas of deep listening. He's talking to me about his experience in this exceptionally quiet place. And I thought that it might be fun for you to get to have some episodes with Nick, to hear a different voice, a different perspective, a different way of thinking and feeling and moving through meditative experience. And so, this episode and ones that follow from Nick won't be guided meditations, but they are indeed meditative. And the invitation is to pop your headphones on, to settle into a comfy space or a rhythmic activity, and let yourself listen. Listen and feel and wonder, and join us as we explore the quietest place in Oregon. Welcome. You are listening to Our Mindful Nature, formerly titled The Mindful Minute. I'm your host, Meryl Arnett. This podcast explores the deep connection between land and self through nature-based meditations and meditative experiences that invite us back into belonging to each other, to our ancestors, to the earth, and to all beings that make up this universe. If you would like to access these meditation practices as standalone audio files, please subscribe to my newsletter at merylarnett.com. It's free, and you'll receive a new mini meditation each week, along with behind-the-scenes content and bonus material for each podcast episode. All right, grab a cup of tea, pop in your headphones, and find a comfy seat. Let's settle in for today's episode.
The search for the quietest place in Oregon ended high and dry. There's hardly anything here. No water, no trees, just a small two-track road and a distant horizon. The terrain appears endlessly flat, but after some time walking, I cannot see my car anymore. No towns, people, highways, or aircraft. A strange silence seems to be suspended in the still air. Without a cloud in sight, there's little depth, just still air. The distance between land and space is thin, comfortable, bright. Where does the blue of the sky begin? I hear the rustle of sagebrush, lightly moving somewhere to my left. The sound reaching my ears before I feel the breeze that caused the stir. Like calm waves, the wind laps at the stiff little plants. I sit down in the sage and the wind calms. Looking closer, I see various small wildflowers growing in clumps thoughtfully placed near roots and stones. I lay down. It doesn't feel dirty here. The dusty soil is cool, almost soothing. Eyes close. It is not long before the whir of wings passes not far overhead, quickly followed by another and a hushed chirp. Something imperceptible has shifted. Another soft chirp, another whir over to the left this time. Then a trill, gradually building a mesmerizing chorus of brewer's sparrows, and the steady drumbeat of a common poor-will in the distance weave the song of this quiet sage land. Time takes on new meaning in this quiet. I can't say that it is faster or slower, but the perception of change has more subtlety. This is just what I was hoping for, to lose track of time. The persistent rhythm of time has been completely derailed. Shadows stop moving. Frozen. Be still. Breathe in. Bend into the hue of subtle green, brown, and yellow. Squint into the blue depth and embark on the call of the song. Here, in space and time, the call to listen demands attention. Just be here in the middle of the environment and listen. Warm, dry, everything will happen at its own pace. Open to the suggestion, I let the pace sink in. I find a brush-free spot to set up my two-person backpacking tent. The late afternoon spring calls me into the humble shelter to stretch out for a nap. On top of the sleeping bag, of course. It is warm and the breeze is calm. I recline, letting my eyes close. When you don't sing and the wind isn't blowing, I hear nothing. Eyes close, Laying flat in the small tent, I feel suspended in silence. A single call rings out faintly in the dry air as I drift to sleep. Awake again. How long has it been? A single call rings out faintly, this time followed by another. Slip into the present, and time loses significance. Eternity is here, imperceptible, on the edge of consciousness, on the note of a song.
Thanks for listening to Our Mindful Nature. If you enjoyed today's episode, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving me a review wherever you get your podcasts. It helps others to find the show, and let's face it, we could all use a few more meditators in our lives. Our Mindful Nature is recorded on Muskogee land and produced with the support of Brianna Nielsen. Deep gratitude is offered to acoustic ecologists Gordon Hempton and Nick McMahon for the use of their nature field recordings in many of these episodes. To join my live classes, ask questions, or learn about my teacher trainings, please visit merylarnett.com. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next week.